The only thing in this life that is for sure, that is certain, is change. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Welcome everybody to the Business for Builders podcast. My name's Max. I'm your host. I'm the CEO at Smith & Sons Canada, and I'm also a coach at Elite Business Advisory. And I'm privileged to work with a whole bunch of builders all around the world in both respects. So it's so good to be here. If you are watching this one on YouTube, you will notice, if you're on the road and you are on the podcast, appreciate for tuning in. But all those in YouTube land, you're going to notice there's some little bit of a difference. We have upgraded our studio, so pretty excited about that and where we're going. So looking forward to doing another 155 episodes here, I would think. So very cool. So look, quick housekeeping, like and subscribe, all that kind of wonderful stuff. Leave me comments there in the section if you're on YouTube. Maybe give us a rating if you're feeling helpful. That'll help me get to a whole bunch more builders who need to hear the information that you guys and gals have that are hearing or have heard. And if you are joining us for the first time, welcome to you as well. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to just share some of the interesting points around what it takes to build a successful contracting or building company. So let's get after it. As you might have noticed, the intro was a little different. Again, if you're in podcast land, you've got no visual, so you didn't necessarily see what happened. But I had one of my guitars out and was just fiddling with a little bit of a riff there. And what it was about is the fact that we are changing. All of us are in a state of change if we choose it to be, and even if we do not choose to change, we are changing. We're all growing older, hopefully aging with grace. And getting a few grey hairs in my case. But, I think that, as we move forward and if we bring it back to the business side of our lives, that, I think what we want to do is, I am a big believer in routine, absolutely. But what happens is that we control that. We go, okay, this is going to be my routine. This is how I do business. This is how I roll. Unfortunately, things that affect the way we do business and our routine are usually outside of our control. And so, more recently, we've had interest rates and inflation, go up. And that's really, especially in the building game, that has altered, what happens as far as people moving forward into projects, people postponing. I know here in Canada just recently, our esteemed Prime Minister mentioned that interest rates were going to potentially level out middle of next year, which we'll believe it when we see it. But what that's going to do is, in the minds of our prospective clients, they're going to start going, okay, I might just wait until my interest rate drops, half a point or whatever the case may be. And that's going to put some back pressure on your business. So here you go. It's like there's change happening that's outside your control, and we're really down to how we adapt. And so, I think we've got to look at the things that we can control and control those, sure. But unfortunately, we might need to make some alterations depending on whether or not, the influences that are outside of our control really make a massive difference in our business. And so, I think part of change and just recently having dealt with, several of my elite business clients, we've started to really focus on, and we do focus on KPIs on a weekly basis, and we talk about key metrics. And, I think that, that is in itself an element of change in their business, because when I ask them about conversion rates and what their customer acquisition cost is and how much their marketing spend is and maybe what's their return on their advertising spend, all of these metrics. Now, it's funny because once you see that and once we've had a few meetings and you understand it, how it relates to your business, it really does, it changes the way that you approach your business and the future of your business. And so, one gentleman that I spoke with here in Canada, he was adamant that he wants to build a $10 million business. And so, we talked about, a lot of the things within the business that would need to change. But one thing I alluded to is that You are not the person today that you need to be in 3, 5, 7, 8 years, however long it takes you to build that empire, to lead that business. And so this is why I think if we are all uncomfortable with change, and I get it, I like my routines and I don't like people rattling my cage, but ultimately I think if we can embrace the discomfort of change, I think what happens to us there is there's a maturity that starts to grow. And really, when we're talking about growing a business economically, we actually have to understand that there needs to be an emotional and a mental growth as well. You know, what happens within my coaching business now, both with my Smith & Sons general contractors and my elite business coaches, my elite business clients, is that there is that element of awareness that I bring, there is an element of education, and there is that element of accountability. So what I find is that it's not like I need to teach these clients and franchisee builders more. What I need to do is just bring some accountability. We just need to go and execute. It's one of the challenging reasons that we don't succeed is because the weeks turn to months, months turn to years, and then years turns to decades, and you just go, well, what am I not doing? And so, you know, I think what we need is to bring clarity to what it is that we're doing and how we're approaching business, and maybe start kicking some of the stuff around that we thought was, this is why we're successful, or this is what we do because Dad did it in the business when he was controlling it, or what have you. There has to be some just 40,000 foot, let me have a look at what's going on here, a real objective view. And I guess, you know, in some of the conversations that I've had with my elite business clients is that they're sort of on, you know, in their position working their brand. And there's a lot of conversation we have about these structures where they go, well, this is how we've always done it. And then we're talking about having to make change. And so this is why I kicked off the episode with a bit of a change, because we're talking about change and we've changed studios. So there's a bit of change happening. So change is good. I think if we embrace that, I think we don't necessarily need to be taught lots more. What we need to understand is we just need to be accountable to someone so that they do get done. It's funny. You're either running from something or to something. And I think for the most part, people are running away from something. So there's a stick on their back and they're trying to get away from that. And, you know, I think as builders and as general contractors and as business owners, what we really want to be doing is not being driven, like, okay, for all of those that have got a spouse or spice, I often get motivated, not because I'm motivated, it's because I have motivation thrust upon me, and I need a chicken coop built. And so I just don't stop hearing about that until such time as I build a chicken coop. That kind of motivation and that kind of accountability, because, happy wife, happy life, happy spouse, happy house. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to go and do that, or we don't want to change to that. But the greater good, which is the ultimate result of change, can be something that is very fulfilling, something is very beneficial, something is actually good for you and your business and your life. And so, guys and gals, as much as I subscribe to making sure that we've got our routine and everything is happening, I also, on the flip side, always want to be open to change and really analyze, my own understanding and knowing that, shocker, I don't know everything. And so the further I go, the more I realize how much I don't know. And so I think that little bit of naivete where it goes, okay, there is so much more for me to learn. I think that really puts you in a really good, humble position to actually grow your business and become a better human and become a better leader within your business. And so embrace change. Don't, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't get so ingrained in your process like you're always right. I think that ignorance can destroy your business. I've seen it happen. And so, I want success for you. We need to move the needle on this whole 50% failure rate in the first 5 years. There is guys out there and gals right now who are 23, 24, 25 that don't even consider failure as something that could happen to them, and yet 5 years in, they could find their financial life destroyed, their business life being no longer, and back doing something that they really don't want to do. We really need to pay attention You've got to understand those certain aspects within your business. And this is why, again, when I'm talking to the younger group, but it also applies to the older group, you've really got to dream big, start small, focus on the financial metrics of your business, focus on business management and business development, really pay attention to, how you go about managing or recruiting and managing human resource, because without teams, we can't do it. Make sure you systemize the shit out of everything, because good businesses run off the back of good systems, and you need to have good systems if you have good people in your business. Find your niche. You can't do 3 or 4 different, cover 4 or 5 different sort of aspects within the building industry, because you're going to have to systemize that, and then you're going to have people for that. And that's why we always say, hey, look, let's pick is it renovations and remodeling and custom homes, because custom homes can be very, very customized because of their individual nature. And so, let's really step back and think about, what is it that I need to change in my life? And just take a look at your last 2 years, 5 years. And, if you sit there and go, I'm not happy with the outcome of my business and where I'm finding myself right now, but I thought everything I was doing was okay, and you're sitting there going, I absolutely have no clue where to from here, right, that's where you and I maybe need to spend 30 minutes in a video call. So, don't be afraid to get across to elitebusinessadvisory.com, hit that book a consultation button. It's a quick strategy meeting. It'll be a video call between you and me. And, if that is the case. Now, if you're chugging along and life's awesome and your business is going great, and you've either got good mentors and coaches around you, or you've got something out of this show that's really helped you, then absolute mazel tov, happy for you. But, I guess I could put myself out there perhaps as a last resort, because you, maybe have tried to find people in and around, in your sphere of influence, that you can't find anyone that will do it or help you. Or you just plumb don't have anybody to access, and maybe I'm going to be the final line, like the last line of defense for you and your business. Then definitely reach out. I mean, it's the way we've got to do it. I have not got here by myself. How else is it possible that I can sit here and talk to you guys and gals about this kind of information? I will tell you, it's just experience. And so, there was no real book smarts as such. But there was a lot of mistakes that were made, and there's a lot of experience that was gleaned from said mistakes. Then there is also third-party individuals in the industry that I'm close to. I have business partners that have been around the game forever. And so, it's really important that, you understand that success comes through the relationships that you invest in and time. It's just the way it goes, because even though I say, yep, we've got to change isn't instant. Usually it takes some time. So look, be sure to get across to the Business for Builders VIP Facebook page as well. I know I had someone hit me up, and I did mention the selection sheet, which is in its 3rd iteration right now, and we're trying to get an interactive selection sheet that we can work with our clients online. And it's a 30-page selection sheet. So, the individual that hit me up and said, hey, Max, you said you'd get me the selection sheet, or you said you'd put the selection sheet up. I will probably put that up in the next little while on the Business for Builders VIP. And it is really geared towards picking every room in the house, every single item you could possibly, maybe a couple of each. And, it's quite an extensive document, one which you could actually pull out the different rooms and go, okay, we're doing an ensuite and we're doing a bathroom, and that's it, and just, grab those 2 sheets. So that is a very good, what I would call a manual, old school, analog type document. But in saying that, it's a good starting place if you've got nothing. So be sure to get across to, Business for Builders VIP Facebook group, private group there, if you're good, sort of let you in. Be sure to drop a comment. If you got something to say about the show or this episode in the comment section if you're on YouTube, and certainly if you're feeling generous, I would love it and appreciate to be able to get amongst and get in front of a bunch of new general contractors who might benefit from this kind of information and this sort of assistance and help going forward. I don't think there's anything else. I think we're just about done. Anything else? All right, folks, have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great week. Go build a kick-ass business, and I will see you on the next episode. Cheers.